Engineering students, here's your tutorial on how to assemble your paper rocket. So we're going to go up to New. Once this menu comes up, we're going to create a new standard.iam assembly file. We're going to go ahead and let that load. Once your assembly file loads, you want to go up to the top left-hand corner and you're going to place. The first component you're going to place from your rocket project folder is going to be your body. You can go and click body and open. Once the body comes in, you want to make sure it's in the right orientation, meaning up and down. You're going to right click and you're going to place grounded at origin. This is going to be our main piece that we're going to assemble or constrain all our other pieces around. So we want to make sure that this piece is grounded. Once that is grounded, we can just go ahead and right click OK. And we're going to bring in two more components. We're going to bring in the blast cap. We're just going to put one copy of the blast cap in there, and then next we are going to bring in our cone. Now that we have those three major parts put together or out here in the document, we are going to assemble the blast cap on top of the body and then the cone on top of the blast cap. So there's going to be a few constraints for each. So we're going to click constraint, and to make this easy for you without teaching you any new constraints, we're just going to use a make constraint. And we're going to actually mate the center lines of our objects together first, and then we'll mate faces together. So what we want to do is we're going to go and take our body, and when you put your cursor over it, you're going to get a center line that goes through it. As long as that center line is showing all the way through the object, you're going to click, and we're going to do the same thing for the blast cap. Now this one's a little bit more difficult because if you just grab an edge, it just finds a center point. And you don't want a center point, instead you want an axis. So a few different ways that we could do that. If you hold your cursor long enough, you can actually hold your cursor in one place long enough, you'll get this little menu that drops down. And you can click on the arrow and you can look at all the different things you can select. And you want to make sure you select the axis. That's probably one of the easiest ways to go about it. You can see that the documents in here or the parts inside. That's okay. We're just going to go ahead and hit apply, cancel. And then if you put your cursor about where it is, you can click and hold and you can drag it up. We're going to click constrain again. And this time we're just going to do a make constraint of the top of the rocket. So we're going to zoom in here and we're going to get this surface right here, which is the edge of our paper that moves around. So we're going to click on that, and then we're just going to shift, rotate to this underside, and we're going to place the cap right there. Go ahead and apply, cancel. And we're going to do pretty much the same exact thing to the cone. So we're going to go constrain. You're going to find the center line of the cone, center line of the body. We're going to apply that. You're just going to find it down here, click, hold, bring it up. We'll go constrain. We'll do a regular make constraint. We're going to select now the top of the blast cap and zoom over, rotate, and we're going to click the bottom of our cone, which will also be our edge of the paper. Apply and cancel. And so we have the majority of our rocket assembled. We have the body, the blast cap, and the cone. Next, we're just going to go ahead and put in our fin. So I'm going to go rocket, fin, and I'm going to again make sure it's in the orientation I want, and I'm going to click OK, place it down. And now this one's a little bit more of the difficult one. In the fin and the body, I'm going to turn on two planes that I'm going to be able to mate to. It's much easier to do it this way to make sure your fin is correctly constrained to like one of the quadrants of this cylinder. So I'm going to go into the body, and inside the body I'm going to go to the origin folder, and I'm going to find one of the planes that goes the length of it. So it could be, in this case, the XY plane or the YZ plane. And again, it might be different depending on how you drew yours. For me, I'm going to select the YZ plane. I'm going to right click and I'm going to click visibility so I can see it. I'm going to go to my fin, click the arrow, click the origin arrow, find the plane that goes through the entire piece, because remember how we created this, we did a symmetrical extrusion, so there should be a plane that bisects the piece in half. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and right click and select visibility on that. After that, we're going to go ahead and constrain those two planes. So we're going to select constrain. We're going to click this plane and this plane to mate those two pieces together. Okay, so just to show you that again, we're going to go ahead and click constrain. you're going to select your plane. You're going to select your plane that comes through here, and it's going to constrain to it. Now you can see here that it looks a little funky. It rotated my fin around. I'm just going to go ahead and apply and cancel because I can kind of drag that out, and it'll look like I'm just going to constrain it to this side first, which is fine. This will work. So now that I've taken and constrained these two planes together, that just essentially means that my fin here, I can't move it up and down. I can move it left and right. I can move it from bottom to top, but I can't move it away from that plane. I'm going to go ahead now and take this fin and mate it to the body. To do this, I'm going to click Constrain. I'm going to select Tangent. So this is a new one, type Tangent. I'm going to go into this box, and I want to make sure this solution is picked right here, which is called Outside. I'm going to go to the bottom part of my fin, and I'm going to select this piece, and this is the piece that's going to touch the body. And I'm going to then click the body. And you can see here that it mates those two together. The reason we have to do a tangent is because the body is in a flat surface, and a tangent will allow us to take a flat surface and mate it to a round surface. Next, the only thing is this moves up and down. We want to just constrain it to the back edge, and you can also use this method if you need to offset it for any reason. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the constrain button. I'm going to do a regular make constraint. I'm going to go to the back here. I'm going to click the back edge of my rocket. I'm going to move to the fin, and I'm going to click this bottom line of the fin right here once. So it can mate those two together. Now if I wanted to, I can then go into this offset dialog box, and I can give it a negative offset if I need to move this fin up and down in the placement on the on one of the axes. This would probably be the y-axis that it moves up and down on. So I can select, -1 or -1.5. For me, it was just right at the back, so it's a 0. Go ahead and click Apply, and now that I have this, I'm actually going to take my fin, and I'm going to circular pattern it around the body instead of having to do that 3 more times. So I'm going to go up to the Pattern button. I'm going to select Pattern, top one. First thing it asks me for is the component. You can see there it's selected blue. So I'm just going to click on the fin once. I'm going to go over to the circular pattern, and I'm going to click the Axis Direction button, and I'm going to select what I want it to rotate around, which is the body. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the body, and you can see here that it rotates around, and it's defaulting to 4. And so now this is where you want to determine. If you had 4, then you want to take 360 divided by 4, and you would get 90. If, say, you only had 3 fins, then you want to take 360 divided by 3, which would give us 120. So they're equal angles all the way around. So this is kind of what you want it to look like. Go ahead and hit OK. Now with these two, or with this entire assembly done, last thing we're going to do is just make it a little bit prettier, and we're going to get rid of those planes. But I'm going to right click, go back to them, I'm going to turn off the visibility, and I'm going to do that for the fins as well. The fin is consumed in this component pattern, so I'm just going to find all the way down here, and I'm just going to turn off the visibility of the first sketch. So you can see I had to go into a few options: component pattern, element, fin, then origin, and turn it off. I can save that assembly. It'll be the first time saving it for you. For me, I've done this before. So when you save that, your rocket is complete, and you're ready for putting together your set of working drawings.